What's up guys, Smash Adams here, and today I'm going to bring you guys a brand new deck profile, and this time around it's going to be on Disaster Dragons. Now, considering with the amount of playtests that I've done over the past week, the deck is really good, and a lot of people think that, oh, the deck is not even competitive anymore, it's obsolete. No, it's actually alive and well. You just got to do your research and actually playtest it from time to time. And sure enough, it's working out great. I like the lad build due to the fact that it not only gives you the ability to just shut down your opponent's resources that they use against you, but it also gives you more leeway to get more stuff out of your graveyard after using lad's effect, then getting more board presence with red eyes, and then proceeding a game, and then some. But nonetheless, I love this deck. It's one of my favorite dragon decks thus far, and it's one of those decks that I've never let go of. I tried a Horus build in the past when... this was when I think Dragon Rulers were still alive, but after the Dragon Rulers got banned because of the whole dark matter scare, I put the deck on hold, and I stopped showcasing it for a while because I figured, you know what, until I can playtest it to my liking, I'm not going to run it anytime soon. And sure enough, I got it to my liking today. So, nonetheless, it's working out fine. So, I'm going to show you all the deck, explain a couple of my tech choices, and without further ado, here is Disaster Dragons. To start off, of course, we've got the two Light and Darkness Dragons, self-explanatory. You want to use these to shut down whatever your opponent uses against you. And a majority of the time, you're going to be using this to get back red eyes from your graveyard. Say if it were either hit or just sent straight from there to the graveyard due to a card effect, you can do so, then bring it back, and then just spam the board with other dragons that you have. Because this is one of the primary key pieces to the puzzle next to red eyes. I was contemplating on running Yamada Dragon as a new tech choice just to kind of get more draw power into the deck because I can't invest in Card of Demise at the moment. But for now, this is working out just fine. And I also thought of running a third lad, but I figured 2 was balanced enough because I don't want to draw into it too soon. Even though a lot of people recommend that 3 is the better option, 2 is never a gimmick either. So, I mean, find whatever works for you. 2 was working out just fine for me. Next we've got 1 Red Eyes. I can't stress enough how important this card is. Board presence, getting whatever you need to get synchro plays going, getting flexible plays. Red Eyes can do that for you. That's why it's one of the best dragons in the game right now. And it's a beater. No ifs, ands, or buts. You should be running this card in the deck. I mean, if you're not, then don't bother running Disaster Dragons. Next we've got 3 Koaki Dragos, another key piece of the deck. Basically shuts your opponent out of lights and darks. Keep in mind, this shuts you out of light and dark special summons as well. So, whatever you go up against, you shouldn't have a problem. Black Wings, unless they play Kalutes, yeah, Koaki Drago can do more harm against your opponent, and good on your behalf, since it completely renders your opponent's special summons useless. Light Sworns, same thing. Cosmos, same thing, since they do require light and dark special summons. Anything of that nature, light and dark based. You can't really go wrong with Koaki Drago. And plus it's a 1900 beater. That's the other reason why I love him as well. There's nothing wrong with playing a playset of these. Next we've got the Searchers, 3 Mass Dragon. I like 3 because the more you see him, and the more you set him and use him as a bluff card, chances are you're going to be getting either a Keeper of the Shrine or something else, 1500 or less, and then just using it to your advantage the next time around. But nonetheless, 3 Mass Dragons is never a gimmick. And of course, 3 Keeper of the Shrine. It's basically your replacement for Totem Dragon, and considering the fact that you can easily get it from your hand or your graveyard to your field, just as long as you have a dragon that's face up that was destroyed in any given time. It has to be face up, though, in order for it to work. You can just spam it out. Mad, you can only use it once per turn, but at the same time, you can special summon it in D, and then use it to get Lad, and then some. So you have other options to fall back on. But at the same time, it's real easy to use this in Delta Flyer to get some synchro plays going. Speaking of which, we run 2 Delta Flyer, self-explanatory. In my opinion, it's more flexible than Dread Dragon, even though I thought of running Dread Dragon in this deck, which I may do later on when I update this, but for now, 2 Delta Flyers is good enough. And of course, to end the monster lineup, 1 Exploder Dragon. You can't go wrong with this card. You don't take battle damage, and the cool side is both monsters are instantly destroyed when it dies. So it does more harm than good against your opponent. Next we got the spells. It's not that heavy, but it's worth it. So we got 2 Shrines. 2 Shrines is working out great for me. I ran 3 in the past, but I figured, you know what, cutting 1 out and just trying some other stuff just to add space made it a little bit more significant. And plus, it gives you more options to fall back on besides just dumping the Shrine or just dumping the Red Eyes. So a majority of the time you are going to be dumping the Shrine more so than the Red Eyes. But nonetheless, Dragon Shrine, you need to run this in the deck. 2 cores. I thought of running a 3rd Diamond Core in the deck, but I wasn't sure what to take out, so for now, 2's just fine. And plus the fact that it makes Meru Drago impervious to destruction for like a whole turn the minute you banish it. So say if you don't have any dragons to reveal from your hand to keep it on the field, guess what? Diamond Core basically saves you from harm because it prevents your Meru monsters from being destroyed. 2 Twin Twister. In my opinion, it gives a lot more off than MST, even though I was running 1 and 1 MST as well. But I figured running double Twin Twister was the better option because you want to destroy as many back row cards as possible since back row is still a problem to this format. 1 Raigeki to clear your opponent's board. 1 Soul Charge. I have a love-hate relationship with this card. The love part being able to spam more monsters out of your graveyard depending on which ones are going to be useful to you, and the hate part being to waste life points depending on how many you special summon. 1 Foolish Burial to get your Shrine, get your Red Eyes in the graveyard. More so your Shrine than anything. And of course, 1 Tech of Book of Moon. It's saved me a bunch of times. I can't tell you how much it has done some wonders for me. But nonetheless, it's great. Now onto the traps. We got 2 Storming Mirror Force. I hope to get a 3rd one, but for now, 2 is working out just fine. And next we got 2 regular Mirror Force. I was contemplating on running something else in their place, but I figured you need something else to fall back on in case you don't draw into the Storming Mirror Force in advance. And sure enough, Mirror Force has done a lot of benefits for this deck as well. 2 Solemn Strikes. These were pretty tough to get, but you know what? They've worked wonders for this deck. I can't tell you how important they are, especially in the trap lineup. I hope to get a 3rd one, but for now, 2's working out just fine. Usually at the most, you should be running 2. 2 Call of the Haunted, usually to get your Red Eyes back or to get your Meru's back, or anything else back, and then just do synchro plays and all. But nonetheless, Call the Haunted is, in my opinion, one of the better options. And of course, triple Memory Loss. Now, a lot of people are wondering, what is Memory Loss? What does it do? It's basically a breakthrough skill and enemy controller built into one. Basically what it does, say if your opponent has effect monster in attack mode that activates an effect that could hurt you in the long run on any given turn. You can activate it, negate the effect, and then switch that effect monster to defense mode. So that's basically what it does. But Memory Loss is a pretty good card. So you should try using it. It's really awesome nonetheless. Next we got the 1-ofs. Let me get these out of the way. 1 Bottomless, 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Compulse. Just in case they play something like Bottomless or anything of that nature, I can bounce it back and then use it the next turn after I used something else. And of course, 1 Vanity's Emptiness. Basically to shut down special summons on your opponent. Even though it does hurt you, it's going to hurt your opponent more so. Sorry, my bad. But Vanity's Emptiness, you shouldn't, there's no business on why you shouldn't be running this in Disaster Dragons. Now for the extra deck. I'm going to start with the Synchro lineup, because a majority of your plays come from the extra deck, if not Red Eyes in general. 1 Red Wyvern. I was thinking of running a Coral Dragon since I have one, but I'm not sure what to take out for it. So I'm running one level 6, and that's being Red Wyvern. You don't use the effect as much, even though it is a hammer shot with legs, depending on what you go up against. Even though you can only use it once during the duel, it is a really good card. I can't stress enough how good it is. Next, we got the 7s. We got one Exploder Dragonwing. You gotta love the rarity on this one. I like this because it works on even number matchups or lower powered matchups when going into the battle phase, and then you can burn your opponent after it dies. One Black Rose, if you have another alternative, just blow the field up. And one Clear Wing. High powered matchups, no problem. This card can help you. That's it for the 7s. Now on to the 8s. The 8s are pretty high, which are one Stardust, self-explanatory. One Scrap Dragon, no reason why it shouldn't be in there. And next we got one Scarlight. Gotta love the ulties. One Clear Wing. This card, I can't tell you how many times this has benefited me in the long run, but it can save you in any given time. A self-automated honest, and it can negate monster effects. What more can you ask for? And its stats are good too. One Trident Dragon, just in case I want to be a douche and just end them right there if their field's wide open. I've done this a couple of times. It's pretty good. One Star Eater, because it's pretty easy to make. And one Trishula. It's a little beat up. If you can see the dent there. Yeah, there's a dent right here. But nonetheless, yeah, Trishula is still good. You can make it in this deck. And of course, for the Xyz, we got one Queen Dragoon to Gen, one Castell, one 101, and one Lightning Chidori to put the deck to a close. So, that's it for Disaster Dragons, guys. Hope you all enjoyed this deck profile that I put together. Please leave a like and favorite if you enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, leave them. And I was thinking of making a Felgrand build of this in the future, but until then, we'll see. I like the Lad version, though. It's one of my favorites, nonetheless. Anyway, hit me up in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, this is Smash Adams, signing out.